Hello, my name is Jerry Frawley and today I'm going to talk to you about safety tests for bouncing castles. Safety test for bouncing castles, the EN 14960-2013 is set up to reduce the risk of children, not to do away with the risk, but to reduce the risk of children using inflatables. It's basically broken down into various responsibilities. The manufacturer has a responsibility to adhere to the standard, the hirer has a responsibility to adhere to the standard, and anybody selling castles has a responsibility to adhere to the standard. The standard is a 42-page document. It's fairly complicated and it goes on and on and on. So today I'm going to try and explain to you some simple, prominent points about the standard. And I'm going to start today with, I suppose, one of the most important things, and that's anchor points. Anchor points are one of the most important things that we test with your inflatable when you're getting your annual or initial safety test done. And anchor points are important because during the test we will determine how many anchor points are needed for your inflatable. Every inflatable must have a minimum of 6. So we will measure the surface area exposed to the wind, and we have calculations to work out how many are needed. As I said, a minimum of 6. So we're just going to use a specially designed piece of equipment to pull your anchor point to test its strength to 165 kilos of weight, which is quite a strain, and I'll show you here. So 165, can you pull that there? And you can see the strain coming on that there, which is quite a lot. And he's checking now whether it comes to 165 kilos. Are we there? Yes. Okay, so that one passes. If it breaks, it doesn't pass, and that's your anchor point for it. That's really, really important, because one of the most dangerous things that can happen with a bouncy castle is that it can blow away. So all the anchor points on this, we've checked all the others pass, and there's a minimum of 6, and that's all that's needed on this. One of the other major things to do with the castle is containment. Containment means the height of the walls, the retaining walls on the castle. So now we're going to measure the walls on the bouncy castle and see from the bed up to the top of the wall. That determines what height of children can be on your inflatable. And here, what height have we got? 140. So 140. But you'll notice with this one that the cover is securely tied onto the top of the wall, so we can allow bigger children on this one, because that's an exception when the cover is strong enough and it's tied on very well. That's containment. The next major point in the safety test is what I call access and egress, and that's to do with the step, the height of the bed, and the relationship with each other, and the fall-off height, what's known as the fall-off height, and I'll show you that in a moment. So the first thing we're going to do is measure the height of the bed on your castle. And the height of the bed is measured from the top part of the bed, which you can see there, and we're measuring it from the ground. It must be measured from the ground. That's really important. And so what have we got there? 65. Right, 65. That's great. And that is in relation to, when that's 65, now we're going to measure the depth of the step. Okay, the depth of the step, and we have here, we've got 110. And that just about passes in there. And this step is long enough. And that's to protect children who are standing up in that bed who want to fall backwards so they won't hit the ground. And that's the minimum of tread depth. 1.5 times the height of the bed, the depth of the step. Now we have to deal with something on the same level, which is called the fall-off height. The minimum fall-off height, the maximum fall-off height rather, for a child is 60 centimeters or 64 in an unloaded condition. So we're going to have a look here. The fall-off height, I would measure it right up at the top of the bed, yeah? Fall-off height here is the height that children can fall off from the bed or the step onto the ground or to the impact mat. And so we're going to look at it here. What is it? 48. So that's a wonderful fall-off height. That's pretty good. And if you're on a hard surface or hard grass, you've got to use impact mats for 1.2 meters out from the impact area, which is all over the step. Now we're going to just show you about what they call structural integrity, and that is the pressure of the bouncy castle. So when you bring a bouncy castle to children for fun, you want it to be hard. So it has what they call, or what we call, a sound and reliable footing. We do this by putting weights on the front. We're not going to do it just now, to see whether the castle grounds. And if you put enough weight on the step, whether it goes down right to the ground or not, we do this with big round weights, but we'll do that another time. And so what I'll say to you now is we measure the pressure. We measure the difference in the pressure between the inside of the bouncy castle and the outside pressure here. And we use a water gauge here. We're going to show you that. We've got a minimum. Every castle, to have a sound and reliable footing, must have a minimum of 4 on a water gauge. So we're going to stick the probe in here, and we're going to measure it here. And so what we've got is
5.2.
5.2. And you can see that there, 5.2. And that's really good. And you know for sure that this castle has a sound and reliable footing and is safe for children to play on. The other thing that it does is when you do this every year, you're going to see how is your castle decreasing over the years. Next year it could be 5.1 or 4.8, until such point that if it comes to 4 and below 4, there's a couple of things you can do by putting on a bigger motor or something like that. But you must have it at a minimum of 4 to secure a good, reliable footing for the children. Okay, one of the last things we're going to tell you about is the number of users. According to the European standard, every inflatable must have a label indicating the maximum amount of users and the maximum height of those users. And how you work that out is you've got to measure the playing area, and we have a formula to work out how many children are allowed to play on at any one time. And I'm going to show you the label. That label basically must be visible to anybody who's using the castle. And if you look at the label down here, you'll see that we've already tested this castle, and we have determined under the various heights set out by the standard, 1 meter of the height of children, 1.2 meters, 1.4, that's 6, 5, 4 and 3. That is a safe number of children to play on this castle. And having a label like that is a requirement of the standard on slides or any inflatable. There's a few other things which indicates what size motor should be used also on the castle, which is indicated on the label, and it will have the name and the serial number of this unit. Every unit and every castle in inflatable must have a unique identifying number or a serial number. That is also part of the standard. One more test for the inflatable with the safety test for the standard is the length of the blower tube. The length of the blower tube must be a minimum of 1.2 meters from the castle right out to the hard part of the dam. We're going to check this one. And here we have 122, so that passes. The purpose of this regulation is that if the castle deflates, that children here will not hit their body, head or part on the hard part of the blower, and that's a requirement. It's an easy thing to fix if you don't need it. The blower tube must also have the size of the blower required and a sign saying this is the inflation tube or blower tube. Also, there's requirements for your blower itself. One is your blower must have a P.A.T test done every year. It's a portable appliance test. We can do that for you here. It's only about €10 extra, and we will check your blower to make sure that the mesh guards here, if you look over here, the mesh guards are in place and everything's okay with those mesh guards, and children cannot stick their hands or fingers into the dangerous area of the blower. That's really important. And the portable appliance test that we do will tell you that this blower is safe, and it's safe for 1 more year to use. Electrically, we test it for all the electrical different things, and we make sure it's absolutely safe and in good nick. We check all the connections, the blowers, the connection into the blower and into the plug, and all of that will be done, and leave your stuff ready to go for 1 more year. So we're here at Bouncy Ireland. We're doing lots of tests every day, and we can do your test at a very, very good price. If you have multiple units, we will give you a special deal. If you want to bring up a whole load of them over a couple of days, we will give you a very, very good daily rate. And the advantage of us doing them here as opposed to going to your premises is that if we have a little problem with an anchor point, if a ring is broke, some thread looks like it's going to go and it's going to be failing the test because of that, we can fix it for you right here and now. During the test, we can have it up on the table. It doesn't cost much extra. For example, if it's an initial test and it has no label, well, we can put that label on for you. The label I showed you earlier, we can put that label on. We can work out how many kids have the label on, fill it out, all for €25. So the test is much more complicated than other areas, but that's the basics of it. And if you have any more questions, please get on to Bounce Ireland, www.bounceireland.ie, or send me an email at info@bounceireland.ie, or call me, Jerry, at 086 686 7514. I'll be delighted to deal with your queries. Thank you.